Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show. Meet the trusted experts who will give you straight answers and will help guide you on the path of later life care. Now, here's your host, founder, caregiver, and CEO, Suzanne Newman.
And welcome back, everyone, to Answers for Elders Radio Network. And we are here with the Vitality Revolution, a 4-month program on the 8 foundational principles of wellness. And in the month of June, we are talking about emotional and physical wellness. And we are here on behalf of Humana, our major sponsor, Lori Hutson. And you are an independent agent with that represents Humana, but you have a career. How long again? 17 years?
17 years, yes.
Yeah, that you were with Humana. And we are talking about emotional wellness today. And for those of you that have missed our first 2 segments in this 4-part series, we talked about forgiveness. And it's a very, very powerful episode. And I hope each and every one of you take a moment to listen to it. But we're going to talk a little bit about how our attitudes can make a difference in our healing, in our healthcare and our health and different things like that. And Lori, welcome back to Answers for Elders. And this is a great topic to talk about.
Yes, thank you so much, Suzanne. I'm really excited to talk about this. And I'm not a licensed healthcare provider and I don't give medical advice, but I have my own personal stories as you do, and then working with a lot of clients, things really come to the surface. And, when we're talking about participating in our own healing, there's all different levels of that.
Right.
I have had issues my whole life, and they are the kinds of issues that everything looks good on paper. I go to the doctor, they do this test, that test, blood work. I had a naturopath say that she's never seen better blood work. Well, that doesn't make me feel good. I still don't feel good. So what the heck is going on? And I think that there's that level of healing. And then there's the healing when you have an illness and participating in that. And so how all of that works together.
Well, it's like I've seen individuals, especially family caregivers. I'm going to talk about that quite a bit. First of all, they go down the rabbit hole. They give up their career. A lot of times they lose their jobs. They tend to not take care of themselves, put themselves last. Then they start resenting and they become very negative. And, we wonder why family caregivers, their heart disease and high blood pressure is more than twice the national average of their age group. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that they're not doing self-care there, but they don't have a good attitude about their lives. They feel like they're sacrificial lambs and that they don't come first. And this is something that we talk a lot with Answers for Elders about, do not lose yourself through the process because you will build resentment. You'll get angry. And guess what? That can affect your health. Can it not, Lori?
Oh, absolutely. And, thinking about myself and just my situation, which I was not a full-time caregiver for my dad, but I was participating in that.
Right.
And so you just get so focused on the other person, and you do lose yourself sometimes. And not only the resentments, but you get so fixated on what's going on with the family member that you do forget to take care of yourself. And that affects our own health too.
Yeah.
And it's not serving the other person if you're not taking care of yourself. And it's the old saying about the airplane, you put your oxygen mask on first before you.
Yeah, exactly.
And
exactly.
A lot of times we don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I think that's super important. And, we think about, whether if you're religious, not religious, if you're Christian, Buddhist, whatever it is, prayer, some form of, we call it prayer, but it's really whatever it is.
Meditation or whatever that anybody does. I think that's valuable. And certainly the other side of it is the fact that, I love the fact that, so many of our experts, are way showers. They come on Answers for Elders and they talk about coping, because that's the process. Sometimes when we're in that part of life, we might have a chronic diagnosis. We may have so many of us suffer with chronic pain or different things like that. But it's a lot of it is our own mindset. It's how we can find the best part of life. And a lot of that, I think, in my world, I've got some tools that I tell people. What are some of the tools that you talk about?
Well, I think, first step is that self-awareness, acceptance, self-compassion. You just really have to connect with that self-compassion. But I think in a lot of things, setting goals and expectations. And if you journal that, or I think you can do it in your head, but most people, I think journaling can be so effective for so many different things. So if you can think about just kind of clearly defining intentions for healing, it might be for yourself or for the loved one that you're working with. But for myself, I did a lot of affirmations, a lot of meditation, a lot of affirmations, clearly defining and thinking about how, just visualizing that I want health and wellness, healing, I want to feel good, whatever your affirmation is, but just really connect with that. And we want to treat ourselves the same, like we would another person.
Right.
So many times we would never ever say something to another person that we're saying to ourselves.
Right. And I think there's two G words that I'm going to throw out here. Number one is grace, because obviously we need to give ourselves grace and give others grace in order to stay focused. But the whole thing is, it's okay. For example, I have a bad foot and I've learned, I can't get in and out of restaurant booths very well. I can't do a lot of things. And one of the things I'll always say is, I need a table, not a booth. I need to do. So in other words, I can be okay with that. I've learned. But I think the other thing is we need to step into gratitude. How many things can we be grateful for in our lives? And part of that is, we don't even realize all the things we have to be grateful for. I know I think I don't know if I've talked to you about Look for the Diamonds. I think I have, haven't I? Didn't we do it? Well, I do talk to caregivers about looking for the diamonds, finding we're a rough diamond in life, and every adverse experience causes us to be a little more friction, which causes us to be more polished as human beings. We can allow it to be that way. And I had an aunt that used to say when I was growing up, she was more invested in my character. She would do things like, if you see a spare, grocery cart sitting out, take it and put it away. It doesn't matter that it's not yours. Do it. Make that step to go forward, because every single adversity that we come out, we have an opportunity to become a greater person from it. And that's the thing that I see, if you have a terminal or a chronic illness, this is a time to look for what you're grateful for, because there's a lot of things out there that we don't even think about. And those are the things that I always say, how do you keep yourself focused moving forward? Luckily, I have my past working for Tony Robbins. So a lot of that stuff comes from that I did. But I do realize more and more in life that, we have choices on how we believe and how we feel. And if we are in a healthcare situation, we can find the good opportunities from it.
I so agree with everything you just said. And I think another thing to tag on, because that was actually one of the talking points I had, was about gratitude. So
my gosh, sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder, my friend.
Yeah, that's worked out well. But I think one thing that is very, very important is laughter. You know,
Oh,
if
amen.
if it's emotional or if it's a physical illness, laughter is a very, very healing thing, is just to find things to laugh about, or watch funny movies or whatever it is to get ourselves in that mindset. So I think that's so important. And the other thing I wanted to just mention too is, if you're dealing with an illness, uh, we don't, Dr. Webb MD might not be the best place to look, because I think people now with the internet, you can scare the crap out of yourself, by going
Yes,
online.
I know.
And, my son one time, all of a sudden, he's diabetic, and he had just a stress fracture, and he had himself diagnosed with, who knows what, before he got into the ER. So I think being careful about that kind of thing, but
Good
then also
point.
educating yourself is a very fine balance.
Mhm.
And, being okay with standing up for yourself and saying, I want a second opinion.
Yeah.
about that.
I always say, when I was taking care of my mom, and this is kind of a side note, but when you brought about laughter, I'd have friends of mine say, "What can I do to help?" Because I was so wrapped up. And now I wish I would have had the tools that I had then. But what I would ask them is, I need you to bring joy and laughter into my life, because there isn't a lot of that when you're taking care of someone else. And certainly to find, a girlfriend you can call and vent to and laugh about it, or to go out to lunch once a month and just, have a good time with your girlfriends, or whatever that looks like. There's an opportunity to be a better human being, no matter what you're going through. And I think that's the thing that is so valuable to what you brought today. So thank you for that little anecdote. I love this. So Lori, you are an independent agent, but of Humana, but I really want to thank Humana for their sponsorship for the Vitality Revolution. And we're going to be talking about the next program. We're going to be talking about organization. And I have to say, this is one of my most difficult scenarios in my life. I'm not very organized. And so in the meantime, Lori, how do we reach you?
Well, thank you. And thank you so much for having me. And I think the best way is my website, and that is HutsonInsuranceSolutions.com. And it's Hutson with a T, Hutson, InsuranceSolutions.com. And if you're in Washington State, I'm licensed for the entire state of Washington, and I can help you with any insurance needs that you have if you live in Washington. But if you're out of state, if you go fill out the contact form on the website, I'll put you in touch with an agent in your area.
Perfect. Thank you again. And everyone, we're going to be back for one more segment talking about being organized in life. And this is something I'm going to be really quiet on because I'm the worst in the world. Be right back right after this. We at Answers for Elders thank you for listening. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.